So again, welcome everybody. Pati sa ating mga first-timer. Hello again, Celine. So last week, para din kay Celine, malaman din niya, si Jello, o si Kuya Jello, he talked about mystical body of Christ with the main message na we are one. Now, we are the influencer of each one of us. It's either you are a good influencer or a bad influencer. And this is not originally from Jello. This is not what he invented, but this is a prayer of Jesus. And according to John 17:21, okay, I will read here. Tell me if you can see. If there is. Okay, so I pray that they will all be one, just as you and I are one. As you are in me, Father, and I am in you, and may they be in us as well. So ito yung prayer ni Jesus na tayo may we become all one. And not just that. All the things that we have learned from the School of Life, especially kay Paulo, kay Wesley, and kay Dre, di ba, we have learned from here na our life or your life is love, your life is for love, and your life is for loving. These are all the prayer or project and dream of God in our lives. And the good news is this is possible, na posible, through a transformation dialogue with Him, to a heart-to-heart, heart-to-heart dialogue with Him, and this is through prayer. Now, through prayer, we can be loved, we can love, and we can become one. So today, ang magiging main topic natin is about prayer. So what is prayer? Bakit pa kailangan natin na magdasal? And di ba usually, what we understand about prayer, it is a way of thanksgiving. Lord, thank you for the gifts that you have given me, especially bago tayo matulog. Nagdadasal tayo para mag-thanksgiving. And at the same time, it's a way of petition, asking God, God, sana makapasa ako sa ganito, sana makuha ko pang ganito. Or reciting and memorizing formulas like Our Father, Hail Mary, and etc. And also our way of praising God. But prayer is more than this. No, it's more than that. Prayer is an encounter, with someone, a friend, or a relatives, like who loves us or who loves you. And I really like how Saint Teresa of Avila defined what prayer is. She wrote, prayer is nothing else than an intimate sharing between friends. It means taking time frequently to be alone with Him, who we know loves us. And the important thing is not to think much, but to love much. And so, do that which best steers you to love. Love is not great delight, but desire to please God in everything. Diba? I really love this quote of Saint Teresa of Avila. Diba? Prayer is nothing else but being in friendship with God. Na makipagkaibigan sa Kanya. So pwede mo palang maging kaibigan ng Panginoon. No? Now, talking to Jesus is actually, or encountering Him is like talking to a friend whom you can tell everything without judgment, because He knows you. No, He knows everything about you. Diba, isn't it when you are with your best friend or someone whom you are comfortable with, you can be who you are. No, you don't need to hide your true self. You can tell your secrets or your thoughts or your opinions, and she or he will not judge you. Psalm 139 says, You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my lip, on my tongue, you, O Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. The dialogue with Jesus is somehow no different, from having a dialogue with a friend or with those or with our relative. But the only difference is he is more a friend than any other friend. He is more best friend than any other best friend. Or he is more brother than any other brother. Why? Because he knows you more than your friend or more than your brother. And he knows you more than you know yourself. No, he knows you more than anyone else. He knows the deepest desire and thoughts of your heart, of our heart. He knows even the secret that you only knew. And that is why when he talks to us, it's always a heart-to-heart dialogue where every encounter and dialogue with him brings intimate change and transformation. No, not externally, but a transformation from within, from the heart. When I was at your age, 15 years old, one of the intimate dialogues I had with someone that transformed me was a dialogue with my mother. And she was actually also my best friend. You will discover more later why she was my best friend or why I didn't have a lot of friends before as we go in the preaching today. I told her that I had this attraction with someone, but I was not sure if I will pursue because perhaps I was pressured by some of my classmates. Not pressured lang ako since most of them, they have girlfriends. But suddenly my mother said, Ude kasi ang tawag niya sa akin, huwag kang papasok sa isang relasyon kung para lang sa experience. Dapat mahal mo yung isang tao. So that time, no, it marked me. Perhaps because this advice of my mother is from her experience. Kasi my father was her first boyfriend and only boyfriend, and she loved him so much. That's why we were eight. We are eight siblings, but those words of my mom transformed my heart. It marked to me and became my guide in entering in a romantic relationship, not not to play with the feeling of girls, not to give false hope to them. 'Di ba ang gwapo? Huwag maging paasa to love them with respect back. This was a simple encounter or dialogue with my mom, but it transformed me, and until now, I still remember it. And it also helped me to love others, with respect. And in the Bible, there are a lot of characters that had changed their lives as they encountered Jesus. Because somehow this is my encounter with my mom or our encounter with a friend that transformed us is like a dialogue with Jesus. It transformed our heart, and also it transformed and changed our way of loving others. And some characters of the Bible, when they encounter Jesus, they transform physically, as Jesus healed them in their sickness. But more than that, he transformed their hearts. And I would like to share with you one story, in the Bible that experienced this transformation when he encountered Jesus. The story of Zacchaeus. And I would like to ask the help of our friend Wesley to read the passage.
Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed the sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today. So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, he has gone to be the guest of a sinner. But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount. Jesus said to him, Today salvation has come to this house because of this man, too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost.
Thank you, Wesley. So, according to the story, si Zacchaeus daw is a chief tax collector. And he is a rich man. And in that time, tax collectors were hated by many people because they were corrupt. And perhaps that is why he was also a rich man. And according also to the story, Zacchaeus was a short man ba? That caused him to have a hard time to see Jesus among the big crowd. But he was also smart. So he got an idea to climb up in the sycamore tree to see Jesus. And then when Jesus was under the sycamore tree, he looked up and looked at the eyes of Zacchaeus, and he called him by his name and expressed his desire to stay in his house. And Zacchaeus, for sure, he was shocked because Jesus knew his name even though it was his first time to meet him. And among the crowds, Jesus chose to stay in his house. In Jewish tradition in that time, and also in our interpretation, di ba, when someone invited somebody in his house and they eat together, it expresses that they are related or close friend. So it was like Jesus was saying and shouting to the whole world and to the crowd that Zacchaeus was his close friend. No, he wanted to be his friend. So Zacchaeus joyfully climbed down. He climbed down in that tree, in the sycamore tree, and welcomed Jesus gladly in his house. But people are still indignant to Zacchaeus. They still see him as a sinner. They murmured that Jesus stayed in the house of a sinner. Pero Jesus see the heart of Zacchaeus. He see more than a sinner. For Jesus, Zacchaeus is a friend. And for this, Zacchaeus stood up and said, Lord, I give half of my possessions to the poor here and now. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount. We can see here the transformation that happened to Zacchaeus when he encountered Jesus, when he dialogued with him, and when he welcomed Jesus to enter in his house. Zacchaeus transformed not externally. No, he didn't grow in stature, but his heart grew. His heart grew to become bigger to love. Hindi man siya tumangkad, no, pero lumaki naman yung puso niya, bilang lumaki. Ibibigay daw niya yung 4 times sa mga na-cheat niya. Ibabalik niya yung mga na nadaya niya na pera sa mga tao, lalo na sa mga mahihirap. So biglang lumaki yung puso niya nung na-encounter niya sa Jesus. This is the transformation power of prayer. No, the transforming power of encountering Jesus in our prayer. It transforms us not externally, but it transforms your heart. No? And it makes possible for you to go out of yourself and to love. It makes you possible to see your true identity, your true dignity, that your life is love, your life is for loving, especially sa mga marginalized o sa mga mahihirap. And now, I would like to share with you how prayer transformed me, no, not externally, but interiorly. When I was in my high school, actually elementary, since elementary to high school days, I suffered some bullying from my neighbor, also from my classmates. They called me uleng, diba, the charcoal, because I was really dark, and thin. And when I was actually darker than my skin right now. And I was known in our school, in our barangay, not in my real name, Rudy, but I was known with the name Uleng. And it only changed when Barack Obama won the president in the United States. So they started me calling Barack Obama. And then one time, when I entered in our classroom, I was shocked that most of my classmates had their towel. No, may towel ba sila sa kamay in their hands, and they ran up to me and they're trying to touch my skin and my body. And that is when I realized that day was the day of the Black Nazarene, no, ang itim na Nazareno sa Quiapo. Di ba, people believe that if they were able to touch their towel to the skin of Black Nazarene, it will bring healing, it will bring miracle. So they did it to me. So deep inside, I was really ashamed with myself, with my ugliness, with my color, the color of my skin. And I started to hate myself and to blame my skin. So I planned my transformation. No, I promised to myself na I will have a fairer o mas maputing skin. So for many years, hindi ako lumabas ng bahay. No, para makaiwas ako sa araw. I just stayed in the house and I use different whitening products. And as I hide myself, seldom I spoke to others. And after many years, actually, I would like also to share with you my transformation. Di ba nauuso ngayon transformation sa social media? This is my transformation. Tinakpan ko yung mga mukha ng mga kasabahan ko kasi sila yung mga nambubuli sa akin para maproteksyon na ng kanilang identity. Di ba? Oh, iba rin ang So, yes, yan yung naging transformation ko. But, so my physical body became better. And no one could call me uling na. Okay, tawagin niyo ako ngayong uling. Medyo mamputi na ako, ganun ba? But as a price, I became a shy person and I lack confidence. And I gained a fear to be in front of the people. I suffered from stage fright since I didn't, I just stay in the house. I close myself to other people. That's why my mom is only my best friend. And I didn't want to stand up nor to read in front. No, because I was thinking every time I was in front, like this, I was not like this before. I was very nervous. Kung dati ako magsasalita ngayon, manginginig na ako. Because I was thinking before na when they are looking at me, they were laughing because on how I look. And I was worried pleasing others, and I should always look like good so they could like me. And I'm dying to please everyone. And if I felt like somebody didn't like me, I was dying na. But until I met our community Verbum Day, I become a regular attendee of the School of the Word every Tuesday, where together we listen to the reflection of one missionary about the Sunday Gospel. Little by little, I learned how to pray the Word of God. They taught us how to teach others, how to pray also, and how to share and to preach the Word. And through praying the Word, I encountered Jesus and able to build a relationship with Him. And there, I learned to face my fear in standing in front kasi pinagpipreach nila kami. I remember nga, my first preaching was a disaster. I sang a children's song in my preaching while I was too nervous. And after the preaching, when I sat on my chair, I prayed to God, Lord, sana po lumumbog na ako sa kinuupuan ko ngayon. No, dahil sa kahihiyan ba? But I was surprised when someone thanked me because she was helped by my preaching. Then God gave me a motivation with this woman to continue facing my fear, to the stage fright, and to preach. And little by little, I was transformed to a more confident Rudy. I learned to take care of my external looks. Wow. But at the same time, more than that, I gained more confidence in sharing myself to anyone, to accept who I am. I gained more trust to myself, to God, and to others as I encountered Jesus and praying His word. So my heart was transformed into a bigger heart like Zacchaeus that is able to love everyone, to be compassionate also to those people who have been in my situation before, who experienced self-hate. I am dying now to please God and not everyone. So the transformation that God is inviting us is not actually an external transformation as we encounter Him. Well, also this is important, no? But it is more inner transformation, a transformation of heart, no? A heart that is similar to Jesus' heart. So we continue together in the school of life in learning how to pray the word of God. No, like Zacchaeus, hopefully, let us welcome Jesus in our house, in our home, to let Him to be our friend because He knows us more than we know ourselves or more than any other else. So right now, we will have a moment of reflection, and I prepared some questions that you can also reflect during our prayer time. Oops. So the first question, what are the words or phrases I heard and read that marked to me and why? Second question, how is prayer or the school of life has been helping you? The third, go back to the story of Zacchaeus. If you will enter in the scene, no, to whom do you recognize or identify yourself? Is it to Zacchaeus, to the crowd, to Jesus, or to others? And why?